Cold, cold world. Yeah. Let me take y'all back, man. As I do so well. Wasn't nothing like that. Man, it wasn't nothing like that first time. She was in my math class. Long hair, brown skin with the fat ass. Sat beside me, used to laugh, had mad jokes. The teacher always got mad, so we passed notes. It started off so innocent. She had a vibe and a nigga started digging it. I was a young and straight crushing, trying to play this shit cool. But a nigga couldn't wait to get to school. Cause when I seen them thighs on her, and them hips on her, and them lips on her, got me daydreaming, man, what? I'm thinking how she rides on it, if she sits on it, if she licks on it, make it hard for me to stand up. As time goes by, attractions getting deeper. Wet dreaming, thinking that I'm smashing, but I'm sleeping. I want it bad, and I ain't never been obsessed before. She wrote a note that said, you ever had sex before? Damn, and I ain't never did this before, no. 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 I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this before, no. And I ain't never did this. I wrote back and said, of course I had sex before, knowing I was frontin'. I said I'm like a pro, baby, knowing I was stuntin'. But if I told the truth, I knew that I get played out, son. Hadn't been in pussy since the day I came out.
Yo guys, what's up? So this is gonna be a little different than the content I usually do. How you doing, Robo? I'm the best player in CRETE. Listen, you've been playing sick this season, man. I'm really excited to see you play. But this is gonna be some different content than what I was. My words. This is gonna be different content than what I have been doing. We're gonna go through a CRETE set, and we're gonna just do some analysis. This week. I want to try and do these kind of weekly. So if you guys have like any different CRETE sets you guys want to send me, I think it's actually a really good opportunity for me to like overlook some of the gameplay. It's A1, truly. But we're gonna be going through the set that was cast yesterday, which was Wards of Albion and Fagard CRETE. This is actually a really hyped up matchup. A lot of people were saying that this is Wards of Albion's first real test of the season, probably their hardest matchup. I disagree, by the way. I do think they've already played good teams. By evidence, they played Royal Jesters and beat them 2-1. I think that was already a really good test for them. But this is actually, again, Fagard is a really solid roster. And this is actually a really good week for us to like kind of highlight the importance. Yeah, exactly. The first real test is crazy. Exactly. Hey, listen, don't blame me. Blame the AP poll, bro. They're the ones that say that kind of stuff. But yeah. So. Yeah, but this week I want to talk about this matchup just because, it was really kind of hyped up, I guess, for a lot of the Cretans. And I think this is actually a really good example of where mistakes are made and how that can kind of cost you a game. And also the importance of having a game plan. You guys can read the title. This week we're going to be focused on the importance of having a game plan. I think this set really highlights that. So Warriors of Albion are a really, at least in my opinion, really crazy good roster. Their strengths lie in their solo laner, being Noxus. He's able to create a lot of space, get some relics by diving the backline really easily, and also the synergy that the duo lane has is actually also really good. The mid laner is also individually very skilled, and Majin's obviously the jungler. He's kind of like a jack of all trades player for this roster. So they're already a really strong roster. They've been struggling this set with countering heavy dive and diving effectively. In game one, they got, in my opinion, kind of shat on. They were playing picks they weren't really comfortable on. We're going to skip past game one. We're also going to skip past game two, where they actually made a really good comeback draft-wise and played towards their strengths. Now we're going to look at game three. I want to go through picks and bans first. I'm not going to watch all the picks and bans. I just want to kind of skip through them and let you guys kind of see what's getting first pick, what's getting first banned. So first here we have Vulcan getting banned away by Fagard. So you have Vulcan, Medusa, Kukulin. Fagard is heavy prowling Medusa this set. They like the Medusa. It's not something that Warriors of Albion would need to play, but Fagard feels like that character's OP. So they've been banning it away. And Vulcan was first banned because Crabapple, who is the mid laner for Warriors of Albion, fucking CRETE, he had a really good performance on it. He was landing Vulcan ults, getting a lot of damage in, without being reliant on CC. It's probably one of his better picks. So when they opted to ban that away from him, they want to just make him look worse. And Kukulin, they just blanket think Kukulin's a really good soul laner right now. Whereas Valbian said, okay, like, they expected them to ban Cucullin, so they ended up banning Cthulhu. Cthulhu gave them a lot of trouble in this set, so they said we don't want to play against it. Lancelot, again, another jungler that they struggled against. In the game they lost to Lancelot, found a lot of value. It was hard for their dive to counter it. And you see the Chang'e. The Chang'e is a pick that they just believe, it's super Mickey. It's really easy to look good on that pick. It picks off your backline really easy. Nothing insane here. So, Fagard top pick Camazotz. Now, I do help Words Albion with their picks and bans a lot, and we did say, like, hey, listen, like, if you guys want to let them get Camazotz, like, if you guys don't ban it here, they're going to first pick it. They were like, okay, like, we're just going to opt to try to deal with it. So, they end up first picking Camazotz, which, Camazotz is a very, very good jungler right now. They expected that to go towards Fagard, but it's not a pick that they were looking at playing. But they expected to have to play into it. So because they first picked Camazotz, they said, okay, like, let's get the next best value soul laner besides Cucullin, besides Cthulhu, and let's get Mulan. Let's pick up Mulan right here. And then they said, okay, well, Vhagar has been prioing Freya this whole set. They've been first banning it. They want to play Freya. Let's pick up Freya's counter in the top 2. Let's get Kuzumbo and commit to a dive comp. So they top 2 Mulan and Kuzumbo. This is your front line this set. This is a really, like, this is already a really, really strong laning pressure, like, kind of style like pick. Mulan should be able to get lane pressure. Kuzumbo gets a lot of good lane pressure by pressuring out the ADC very, very effectively. So you're already really happy with your draft here. Now, let's fast forward a little bit here. You see, they round out their draft with Discordia Wukong. Again, Discordia is just, I think, a comfort pick for the mid laner. It's going to be helping boost Camazotz' damage on his dive. His dive will be a little bit stronger. And if not Camazotz, then she'll be boosting the Wukong's dive potential. So their comp is already synergizing really well. But now we see some comp identity. Both teams are drafting pretty heavy dive. Freya Slammers like me pick Freya into Kuzumbo and don't care. That's why you die in 4 autos, good sir. I'm joking. But no, like, unironically, I think if Kuzumbo's in the game, Freya can't be played. Like, straight up. Vhagar recognizing this, saying, okay, well, like, we can't pick the Freya anymore. They're gonna look to play for the Freya. And she's an airborne character. It's really hard to dive her. With our comp, let's ban away the Freya. So they actually forced the Freya to get banned away. So you're already making them waste a ban and something that you didn't even need to play. Because, spoiler alert, Words Albion, they prioritize Medusa Charybdis if those two are up, and they think Freya's okay. Like, they think Freya's fine. Like, they think she's really, really good, but they don't need to play her. But yeah, you're drafting the Robin here to also heavy dive. So whatever backline is getting drafted for both teams, the backline's dying. Like, that's already a thing that everyone's basically establishing. They end up banning out Shibalanke and Ganesha. Shibalanke was just an annoyance from game 1. It kind of enabled their dive. And hurt the Words Albion's coordination to respond to that dive. So they just want to take away the Mickey ult. And Ganesha, just because the character's easy to play, shuts down a lot of the dive. So they want to make sure their diving's getting hard countered by an elephant sitting on the back line, right? So next, let's see. I want to see what else they banned here. Freya gets banned. And then Yu Huang. Yu Huang was actually the next best in slot mid laner. Because you know that your backline's going to get dove here. So you want to just pick characters that don't care about getting dove. Charybdis ends up getting picked up. She's the ADC that doesn't care about getting dove on really hard. Camazotz and Wukong blink on her. What's she going to do? She's going to press 3. She's going to beads Aegis, and then she's going to ult away. So she can buy a lot of time. Even if she does die, she's buying a lot of time. Yu Huang does the same thing. Again, he can just go up into the air, float up in the air for a very, very long time. He can avoid Camazotz ult very, very well. So the Yu Huang ban actually was a really, really smart ban here. Now let's see how they round out their drafts here really quickly. You're going to see a Chernabog and a Karen get picked up. So again, Chernabog, he can dive very, very well with dive. He presses 4, hovers in the air, so he can avoid a lot of this dive. Similar thing to Charybdis, he can buy time, but he also gets to help out the dive. I actually really like the Chernabog pickup for this dive identity that they're looking for. And Karen, again, he's not looking to peel. He's looking to help dive. He can proc somebody with this 2, and then the Camazotz is gaining shields on his dive. The Karen ult is obviously going to help the dive a lot. And then you see this Morgan Le Fay get hovered here. This Morgan Le Fay does get talked about for a while. Giannis got hovered. Morgan Le Fay got hovered. A couple other picks got talked about. But I want to talk about the Morgan Le Fay. The Morgan Le Fay was simply locked in, I think, to buy time. Obviously you see the full draft here. You're counter picking into a full 5 comp as your mid laner. You understand already that you're going to have a rough time getting peeled for. You understand that Kuzumbo, Mulan, Robin are not going to be peeling for you. Charybdis, it doesn't peel for you the best unless she's peeling with her ultimate. And even then, she doesn't peel off Sun Wukong or Camelots very, very well. So already you're like, okay, like what's my game plan here as a mid laner? I think in hindsight, you're looking at probably just trying to survive as long as you can and getting your damage off. I think there's a couple other picks that are better in this slot. I think you could go for a Nuwa. Of course, Nuwa is going to die, but 90% of the mages you could lock in here are going to die. But Nuwa is going to end up getting infinite value. You know, she's going to press 4 and get 1,000 damage off. She's going to get 800 damage off on, you know, all, like everyone on the game, you know, backline wise. And, you know, like, she's like one of the only mages that can actually really do something like that. Another thing you could do is you could go for like a tankier character. You can go for like an E set and build like this this Warlock Staff Shifter Shield build that's going around. I'm going to call it the A1 build because I think he's the only person that actually built that shit in CRETE. So you could build the A1 build and just be a tanky mid laner to where even though you do get dove, you know, you're not dying very, very quickly. You're doing a lot of damage in return. You're surviving for a very, very long time. So I think a different mid lane style was probably required out of this draft. But I do like the idea of like self-peeling yourself, and I just don't think this pick I think is okay in a normal scenario, but into, you know, immune Sun Wukong and immune Camelot, you're not self-peeling really anything, I think, off that. And again, you have Karen Wave to deal with as well. I think if you're tankier to survive most of this dive, I think you live a lot longer. Anyway, so here are the finished comps. Let's talk about the game plan here that both teams are going to be having. So both teams want to dive. That's very, very evident. But let's talk about where's Albion's draft here. You have Mulan, Kuzenbo, Robin. Whatever backliner that this dive ends up diving should be dead. Like straight up, like they should be dead. If let's say they dive Chernobog and Chernobog ults away to the Charybdis Morgan Le Fay and helps that dive, then that means that whoever else is nearby, so like Discordia for example, is going to be the next target. Discordia has nobody peeling for her. Karen can't peel for her. Sun Wukong's not there. Camelot isn't there. So Discordia is guaranteed dead. At this point, if you're Words of Albion, you're looking to kill whoever you're diving and then go back and help your, like, whoever survived long enough in your backline. If you're a backliner Warrior of Albion, you're just trying to buy time for yourself. So your game plan is kill their backline faster than our backline dies. That's basically your game plan here. Now, the importance of this game plan is that you need to stick with it no matter how the game is going. A game plan is meant to keep everybody in check, make sure everybody's on the same page. It reduces confusion down to a minimum. Now, if your game plan here is we're diving them harder than they're diving us, you can't really deviate from that. And I want to just kind of fast forward here, and we're going to talk about the importance of a game plan first. As we let some of this play out, I want to just kind of skip through some of these boring parts of the match. We want to get to right before the first blood, and we can talk about it from there. So anyway, I'm going to cut the casting POV down a little bit. Go to production, by the way. We just don't need to hear them talk for me talking over them. So already we see level 5 here. Let me talk about some of the itemization that we see here in this match, actually. So first, you see the mid laners opting to go flat pen first. I think they're going to be rushing Divine, maybe Desolation Divine. We see Mulan going Shifter Shield. All the builds look pretty normal. We see Horrific being picked up from Kuzenbo. He's going to probably opt in for a Horrific Thorns, if we see that at all. Charybdis is building normally. Everything's pretty normal. It's about 3 minutes into the game. You don't see a gold lead having formed already either. That's pretty standard, I think, for this level of play. No lead has been pushed or anything like that. But one thing I want to highlight is that whoever ends up taking First Blood, basically because of the way that this has happened, First Blood's going to basically dictate the pace of the game. So, also, Birds of Smeef and Pluto, thank you for the follow. I see you're playing this set. You're the Chernobog, so we get to kind of talk about your gameplay. So, but yeah, so we want to look at who gets First Blood here and why it happens, and then we want to look at the pace of the game dictated by this First Blood happening. So, if you're more than 2 minutes into a game, First Blood's one of the most important kills you can have of a match, especially where both teams have a similar comp identity. Now, we're going to see something happen here. We see the Camazot's getting a great flank off here. You see an initiation happen. First here. I want to let this play out first. You guys can just kind of watch this. I don't need to, baby you through it. That Camazot's had a very, very good flank. I don't think they knew that was happening. I think they just kind of got tunnel vision on the Discordia. Discordia lived very, very long. Without having to use a relic there, by the way. There was no CC that she needed to beads. So you end up getting a double kill in mid lane without having to do anything really. Like here, we can back it up a little bit. I'll play it slightly slower. Let me set it to 0.5 speed, and I'm gonna walk you guys through exactly why this went so bad for Warriors of Albion. So, and I'll actually mute it so you guys don't have to hear slow motion talking. So you see, initiated here, we see Morgan Le Fay, right here, right? She goes a flat pen on him. She's not going this do more build that she's used to going. She has no MP5, so she's already out of mana. She's already used her movement speed. That would typically be part of her escape as an engage here. We see the Robin looking to go onto this invis Discordia. She's not out of position by any means. She still has Relic up. She's already full HP, so I don't like the full commit here. We're going to let this see. The Camdots blinks onto the Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay just used her self-peel aggressively, right? And then Discordia's over here, so you're throwing out, like you have none of your 3. Your 3 movement speed's gone already. You have none of your self-peel to peel the Camdots off you. And even then, you don't have Aegis, so you don't live any of the Camdots damage. So your Morgan Le Fay is already dead, right? You've overextended a little bit too far. The Robin has 3'd and 1'd, to my knowledge. He definitely won already here. And now you're turning around to, I assume, try to fight on top of your Morgan Le Fay. Your Morgan Le Fay is press 2, and she literally has no mana to cast her ultimate here. What needed to happen here was this Morgan Le Fay would have needed to hit 3, not like throw out the 1 very, very quickly, save it for the ultimate to like get some cleanup damage, and then she's dead guaranteed here, by the way, because of the Slink. The Slink was really, really good, by the way. But now you have a Robin that's up-downing into basically a 2v1. Camdots is up in the air. He avoids the damage. Discordia just free casting now. You know, she's in a pretty safe space. The Robin's away from her. All the tools that he has to gap close have been used onto the Camdots. The Camdots in the air. So now you have this uncomfortable 2v1. He looks to try and go back for this Discordia. Discordia cooldowns and her Hornshard's still back up. She's fine. She's not in really any danger. She's going to hold her beats because Camdots are going to just look to free cast on him. And even if they trade 1 for 1 here, you don't want to trade your beats out for the next life anyway. So even if Disco dies here, it's not worth. First Blood Gold ends up going to your Discordia, which isn't great. You would have hoped for that to go into your Camdots, but it's not the end of the world. She's still getting First Blood Gold. She's going to finish her power spike before your Morgan Le Fay going to finish her power spike. And then let's just watch this kill get closed out here. Camazot sticks it, full commits for the kill here. I like Robin sticking it in the wave, but again, the wave meets. Discordia ends up using the minion wave to body block that. And so, because she's body blocking using minions, she holds on to her beads. She holds on to, not her ultimate. I don't even think she has it for this fight right now. But she holds on to a lot of things. So now you get a double kill. Your jungler does pick up a kill here. It's not the first blood kill, but it's still a kill. So first blood does end up going to Fagard and the second blood as well. You end up sending your mid laner and the jungler back to base of your Warriors Albion. Not a great look if you're them. And now, what's that dictating here? You see mid pressure is going to be given over to Fagard because that Bull Demon pressure has been forfeited to Fagard because of this mistake. So now this whole like even neutral game has been blown wide open in favor of Fagard. You're getting all the early pressure you want. You have a Wukong who, yeah, like they're like low in HP, but they're never gonna die to Mulan. You have eyes on Mulan, so Mulan's not rotating for this. This Bull Demon's literally free. Duo lane is basically even. It's it's 5, 6, 6, 6, 6. It is what it is. Your fucking support is already backed already. He's getting a full shifter shield. You love to see that. But let's fast forward a little bit now, because now we're not going to really be seeing a lot of productive things happen here. I'm going to back up so you guys can see this kill here. Now, this kill is afforded to you because of positioning. So you're not down that much. You're down 2-0 like right now, but it's not the end of the world. You see the enemy Camazotz is ganking. Your buffs are getting pressured. You don't like this position if you're Warriors Albion, but your support's rotating over to try and secure your buffs. A really good rotation by him. You have eyes on the Camazotz, but now you see Morgan Le Fay. Keep your eyes on the minimap. Morgan Le Fay steps up for this meteor, and I guess just steps too far forward. Ends up just getting poked out, getting not really solo because Carrion Wave does come out, but getting punished for poor positioning here. Your support's not nearby. Your support's helping relieve pressure from your dual lane getting invaded by Camazotz, and then you're securing your own blue buff with your jungler. You step too far forward, then you end up getting punished for it. So already you're just like you're not happy with that positioning there. There's one more kill I want to talk about before we get into the late game, because we're gonna talk about pacing after a certain kill here. Wait a minute. I gotta make sure because they do end up trading here very soon. Oh, wait, there it is. I have fasted. Let me just boop, boop, boop. Here we go. So this fight ends up happening. So your support steps up too far forward with no help. And here's the thing. You do have people that are in a position to help the support here, but your Robin's not going in. Your Robin is not afraid to step in. I wouldn't say afraid to step in is the right term here. But again, your mid laner has 2 abilities to cast, and then they're dead. Your Robin doesn't really want to dive here with you. So, like, for all intensive purposes, I wouldn't say that the support was out of position, but I feel like the team's just on a different page here. So let's pay attention to where he's at right now, right? So let's look at where he's stepping. We see I'm going to say Mylanson. We're going to see Cam on Mylanson step up here behind this Kuzumbo. This Kuzumbo's looking to D-ward the fucking Bull Demon, and he sees Discordia. He sees Camazotz. He doesn't have any eyes on Wukong. He looks to get out of there ASAP. He gets rooted, presses 4 for the CC immunity immediately, but then nobody's stepping up to put any threat onto the backline. What would have needed to happen was Robin come in right here and put a threat onto the Discordia to turn this Karen's attention away from free bowling. Otherwise, free bowling's going to get free casted on here. They have no worry of committing here. Disco ult flies past him. He's not even dead from this. And now, again, you see a Camazotz on top of him. You see Disco on top of him plugging autos. Nobody's putting threat on anybody here doing damage on your support. So your support's going to go down for free basically here. So let's just kind of watch him die. Again, MLF throws some kit to say you participated. It is what it is. But now Robin's going to blink in on the Kama. I don't hate this, by the way. You end up pulling Camazotz's ultimate, but no one else is here to challenge this Bull Demon with you. So, what are you doing for pulling this? You've blinked, you haven't ulted, but you end up pulling Camazotz's blink. It is what it is. Fagard get another Bull Demon. You end up picking the support. The support is a really important pick to get in the early game. You want to set, support is the poorest role on the map. They don't end up getting a lot of gold. Their build looks like a thrift store build. So if you're putting them behind, you're going to be affording your support to just get their items on faster. You're going to keep your support relevant, make their support irrelevant. And for Kuzumbo to be a pick that you want to be locking in to where you want to be pressuring the ADC. If the ADC isn't threatened by Kuzumbo, then the Kuzumbo is going to be losing a lot of value. So the Kuzumbo falling behind actually is really, really bad. There's one more kill I think that I need to talk about before we go to the mid-game state. I just passed it. I passed it somewhere in here. Let me just try and fast forward before I find it. Here we go. So Camazotz is, for all intents and purposes, kind of running away with the game, but farm-wise, he's actually not that far ahead. You have Majin farming on Robin pretty effectively. You see this Camel looking for a lot of ganks. Neither of these playstyles are wrong. They're just different, especially for a CRETE level. You see this gank happen, however, where most of your lead is on Camazotz. He ends up getting forced in the tower. He can't end up, getting his, blink out. He can't get his ult off because the ult's still down. So this is actually a really important pick. And Mommy Sypha, this Charybdis, ends up getting a lot of this shutdown gold, which is really, really good. You have a 2-0 streak on this Camazotz. Most of the farm on the map, most of the lead is on your Camazotz and your Discordia as well. You're shutting down half that lead already, which is really, really important. And you're putting it into a place that was relatively even. So now your dual lane is ahead. Free bowling, even though he's getting picked, and he's kind of roaming a lot, he's still ahead of farm of Juan Tiflis. He's still a level up. He's still pretty even in gold, even though he's gotten picked already. And now your ADC is a level ahead. So, your dual lane's already ahead. So, if I'm Words of Albion here, I know your game plan is to, play through solo. Nox is a really, really strong part of your kit here. Really strong part of your map. But your mid lane is kind of whatever. They're even in build. They're even in XP. If I'm you, I'm playing this duo lead a lot stronger, I think. I think I'm calling to play your duo lead a lot stronger here. Especially because, who's going to kill your Charybdis? Camazotz obviously can't kill your Charybdis. Wukong won't be here to kill your Charybdis. So I think you guys should have just played duo side. But now we're looking at, I want to look at first beacon fight, and then we're going to fast forward the game. So this first beacon fight's about to come through. And you have a lot of ultimates that you can use. Free bowling had to use ultimate to not get picked early. You see Words of Albion, though, they're putting 4 people on this beacon, and then they're walking away. So they end up getting the beacon for free. They're looking for a camp invade here. I don't hate invading this camp, by the way. I don't know why we're immuning this too, though. But now we're gonna see what you can do with a lead So, like, where's Albion? They have a pressure lead on the map right now, but they don't have a gold lead. So, like, what are you looking to do? I want to look for their first major hiccup here. Let's see. Someone gets picked here, and I've missed it. Right here. This is actually a really good example, right? So, you have a pressure lead towards the Albion here, but you're still not in a commanding lead, you know? So, I think because you have a pressure lead, you end up getting comfortable. You end up shoving a duo side of a tower. I don't hate this, by the way. I do like the way that you're throwing pressure on the map here. Camazotz ends up blinking on you. Immediately 3 it. You're going to have to use your relics here. You need to Aegis this. Probably just ult this, honestly. But you're sticking around. There's no need for you to stick around. You're out already. You know what I mean? So now Camazotz has a free opportunity to dive you. But look, you've responded. You end up killing this Camazotz. But now across the map, now I want to talk about what's happened here across the map. I think, first of all, Spectator was so focused on what's happening in duo. I don't hate that. It's a cool gank. We love to see it. This gank should have been punished way more, right? So because Sypha has responded by killing the enemy jungler, they went from 2-0 to 2-2. If nothing else happens anywhere across the map, Words of Albion will get a lead. But they were like, okay, let's pull Pyromancer. We're not ahead, though. But let's pull Pyromancer. There's 2 people in our duo lane. We have a 4v3 happening. Let's just pull Pyromancer. Nobody... Well, let's see. Who's pulling Pyromancer? Free Bowling was the one tanking and pulling Pyromancer. Your Mulan, not here yet. Wukong is flanking around the back now. So neither solo laner was technically here for the pull. And your jungler's not on... most of the damage start being Discordia. You know, Discordia's around the corner. She's casting abilities. She's ulted your Kuzenbo. He ends up eating the ultimate and still eating Pyromancer damage. That's how he ends up dying. Karen ult gets sent, I believe here, like right now. I think it's being sent. Ends up killing Free Bowling. So now this team fight state, their solo laner is here first. You don't have a support, so now it's a 3v3, and they have health bar advantage. What would have ended up needing to happen here was you need to take a fight onto the Discordia. You need to engage on them before they engage on you. But because Words Albion were so, I think, objective focused, like, oh, we just want Pyromancer, they end up sticking out this Pyromancer, they end up dying for it, they end up getting greedy, they end up getting punished, and then they end up dying here. I think they only take 1 death here, because Robin ends up ulting out. He doesn't want to end up taking it out. But again, like, Noxus is here. He's here to, face check this. If he had stolen that, it would have been actually really, really good. But he does end up stealing it. They're not in a position to end up responding. I think Noxus should have just dove in here and just tried to kill Juan straight up. Make them uncomfortable. Make them, regret taking that bomb. The enemy mid laner also no mana. If I'm the Mulan there, I'm saying, hey, like, I'm just fighting this. Hey, like, mid laner, you have your ultimate, fight with me. The Camazotz did get punched pretty well, but again, I think we stuck around too long here. Sypha ends up getting punished by sticking around for their purple buff. They get their purple buff invaded, end up dying. Now, I want to talk about the pace of the game here, and then we're going to fast forward to basically mid-game and end-game, because I think the rest of this early game is just Words Albion making a few macro mistakes and then getting punished for it. If you're Fagard, you're in the lead. You are pushing your lead now. Your jungler is Camazotz. It's the best character, one of the best junglers in the game. You can contend. Camazotz is definitely just top 3. You can't argue that from me. And he's pretty even still. He's still a level down, but, again, Majin's not really getting active. It's about 15 minutes in. He has 0 kill participation on the map. A lot of kills aren't happening in favor of Words of Albion at all. And your solo laner is scaling. Now, we're going to see later in this game, he ends up scaling a lot harder. Mulan's still 0-0. He's 1-0-1. Again, Robin's still trying to get active and not really getting active very, very early. He's opting to go into a shifter shield, so like that damage potential is not really going to be there. Mommy Sypha does a great job of staying ahead of the enemy ADC. 3-1-0 versus 1-0-2. Still being ahead in farm, even though the one mishap of Sypha getting killed on their purple buff and getting it invaded. Now let's go through. I want to go to a better map state here. I think this is actually a really good time to start talking. Maybe I'll go to where Majin died here in this fight. Maybe that's where I want to focus on. Right here, probably, is where I want to talk about it. So about 18 minutes in, there's no, Sypha should have went shifters this game, deadass. No, literally, yes, actually. Like that's actually a really good, a good point that Zenith actually brings up here. So if you're an ADC, if you guys are ADC players in this chat, you guys know the ADC is pretty much a dog shit role right now. Would have made their dive so much worse. Yes, exactly. I was saying that the mid laner should have went shifter shield, the ADC should have went shifter shield, and you still got, like okay, I'm going to talk about a build for build here, right? ADC first. You would have went Aussie, Shifters, Exy. Those are your 3 items. You could have fucked off for the rest of your build, and it wouldn't have mattered. You could have went fucking Oboe for free damage. You could have went Kins to try and shred their front line that's diving you, even though they have an airborne front line, so it doesn't even fucking matter. I think Oboe probably would have been fine here. You could have went like Oboe Titan's Bane. Can confirm, hate this role. Exactly. So if both the backliners have Shifter Shield and you're going a full dive comp here, then your backline, even if you're dying, you're surviving for infinitely longer. You're giving your dive time to kill their backline, and then you're giving your dive time to come back and help you live. So I'm going to talk about the comms of Warriors Albion and how that was a big issue this game, because that conflicted with their game, like their game plan and their identity. But anyway, Warriors Albion ended up getting the Pyromancer for this fight, but like at what cost here, right? So you have free bowling, he's just kind of in. He's kind of stuck being in here. Robin ends up getting really blown up by the Discordia. They're diving the Kama, I believe. Robin ends up beadsing the Discordia root. Like is it a Mez, the taunt, like whatever you want to call it, her too, basically. Ends up beadsing that very late in the game. Tries to ult out, but didn't get the ult off in time. So now you've traded Pyromancer for your Robin's life. The game state, even though Faker would have a decent lead, and you force his ultimate for nothing. This is actually really funny. I was laughing when I saw this one. That was actually really just fun. That was just silly. Cap a big threat. But if you're Warriors of Albion here, you're not super upset at the position you are in the game. Your mid laner is 0-3-0 and they're even in farm. Your jungler is 0-2-1 and they're even in farm. Your solo laner is down 2 levels, and that's kind of scary. But your ADC is even. Your support is level 12 and level 13 respectively. Neither support has farmed good this game, by the way. Both these supports have farmed like trash. So just throwing that out there. Both supports are irrelevant this game. So I want to fast forward by about 5 minutes into the game clock. We're going to talk about this fight. So this fight was actually really interesting. The Robin gets a really good flank off. Ends up committing to the mid laner. I really love this play. The Camelot dies to the self peel, which is huge. Robin ends up picking up a huge kill. But let's just talk about the Crazy Zebra. Crazy Zebra went crazy this set, by the way. Was infinitely in their backline, infinitely making a bunch of space. But Noxus gets online. By the 8th shot, I'm pretty sure he got online. So, but yeah, so Warriors, actually end up getting a really good response in this. It's a 3-for-1 trade, and they end up taking the Gold Fury. Hey, there was a reason behind that. I had no vision on anyone but Q's and Gertie, so I was map checking. You know what? Valid. Again, I'm not saying that ultimate was bad. I just laughed. It was actually just really silly looking. It throws a Kappa. We see the ult up down. It was just really funny looking. So, but we see Zebra trying to end up confirming this Gold Fury. Warriors of Albion didn't guard this Gold Fury very well. There's a real world where he ends up getting it. There's no world where he dies, though. So, again, Warriors of Albion end up punching back here. They end up getting Gold Fury. They end up getting Beacon. If I'm Warriors of Albion, though, I'm saying fuck Beacon. We get Pyromancer. Because now you have this weird mid fight. Your Kuzma having to ult. The front line's here. You might end up trading for Beacon here, which is okay. But Pyromancer by far is your better objective here, especially because, as I established, ADC is a dog shit role. You want to end up getting as many bombs on the map as you possibly can. They do end up getting Beacon. They do end up killing Juan, but we're going to see who dies here. So we're going to see Camazos gets really good value here. Free Bowling ends up dying. Crabapple ends up dying because, first of all, Crabapple doesn't pop Aegis, ends up dying with Aegis up. That's just unfortunate. You end up losing your mid tower here too. So now you've taken a Gold Fury and Beacon fight that was free into now a 2-for-1 trade. You're trading out your support, who is level 14, by the way, and now you've taken 2 kills. You get Pyromancer. You have Prio. You can now force your solo lane lead. So again, like every time Warriors Albion have an avenue back into this game to make it literally a dead even game, they make a mistake. They overextend. Like right here, Noxus he's lazy back and gets blinked on and ends up dying. I'm pretty sure he ends up dying here. Please tell me he ends up dying here. Maybe I misremembered this. Maybe he doesn't end up dying. He doesn't end up dying here, but he should have been dead. So, but either way, like you're forcing Noxus back to base here. You burn a lot of stuff here, but you're getting good vision if you're Fagard. Yeah, like if you're Warriors of Albion here, you're punching back in all of these fights, and then you make a misplay, and it lets Fagard just keep their lead. Like you almost have the lead back. Like you're almost in a commanding part of this game, and then you're like, oh well, guess what? We want them to have the lead. because we want to overextend here. We want to make this mistake here. We want to not use a relic here. You know what I mean? So I want to fast forward on this map state. The ADC gets war crimed. What's new? It's ADC. Really nowhere you can go except to Noxus. And I saw this, and I was like, okay, they're pulling fire here. This is really smart. Yeah, your ADC's over here. Noxus is the only person that can actually respond to this, I think, in time. A teleport happens. A Karen wave comes down to try and zone the people that are teleporting. I like that. But now, this is such a messy fight. Fagard ends up securing this Fire Giant, but it should not have been the case. What should have happened here is both teams have a bomb, neither bomb gets used. So that was actually a true 50-50. If either team says, fuck it, we bomb the FG here, that team gets the Fire Giant guaranteed. It's actually wild that even happened. You end up losing Spartan. Not the biggest loss, because I'm pretty sure they're about to lose Sypha in this fight. Because Sypha's going to die to Wukong, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then you end up losing your Kamazots here. Doesn't want to drop a bomb for secure. Maybe he ends up dropping a bomb for secure. Maybe he does. Did he? I don't know. He did not. he did not have a bomb for secure. He ends up ulting. Yeah. It's later FG ends up doing that. So yeah. No, that is just a raw 50-50 FG. That's just a gamer move on an FG. So, and again, a really chaotic fight after. Whatever team ends up getting Fire Giant here, I think should come out with the better fight. I think it's just I just creep my pants. How you doing, Batman? I will say, so they end up wiping 4 here. If Words of Albion end up getting this Fire Giant, this isn't game by any means. I don't think at this level this is you don't end up having this be game, especially because you lost your ADC. But you do get 2 birds here, I think, in a minimum, if you have fire. But here's where I start frothing at the mouth, by the way. So, here, wait, we're going to play a game. Batman, please. But also, all right, okay. Hydra, my dog, Majin, a straight killer. Exactly. So, you have 4 people dead. It's a 1v4 on bird. Wukong does not have ultimate. You guys have a bomb. A minion wave is in this bird. Do you A, siege the bird at any cost? B, fight the Wukong, kill the Wukong, and then get the bird because Wukong doesn't have ultimate, and you have your entire front line and 2 damage dealers. C, drop a ward for teleport, have your solo laner TP back in after, inting their health bar to tank the bird, and you still get the bird, and everyone's happy, and it's not the best trade in the world, but you still get the bird. D, you all get fucking quadra killed by a Wukong, or E, all of the above. Answer is Z. You have the worst siege known to mankind. You bomb the bird, minions are in the bird takes a bunch of damage. But then, initiate Scooby-Doo music, we all chase the fucking Wukong, the minion wave has died, backdoor protections are now back on the bird, we're looking, a bomb gets dropped by Wukong, something happens, and now we are 1v4ing, running for our lives. Wukong has successfully defended a 1v4 bird attempt with bomb. Robin has to ult away, still gets chased. Oh, wait, guys, it's high tide. It doesn't actually end up connecting, but fucking Zebra does end up chasing fucking Majin to the T2 tower here, ends up killing him. Awful. Noxus ends up getting picked here, I believe. Yeah, he ends up dying here, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe, no, he doesn't. Noxus gets away with murder this whole set. He always gets away with murder for some reason. But yeah, so that's actually as bad as the siege could have gone. Like, I've actually never seen a siege go that bad. You end up using, both bombs on both sides end up getting used, which is unfortunate for both teams. So bombs are basically a useless objective. Oni Fury ends up getting pulled here. Noxus gets a really good TP, doesn't end up securing the Gold Fury, but you have a really good fight angle here. Noxus is like, hey, I'm making infinite space. Sypha dies immediately. Sypha dies with beads up. I think she got CC'd. So she could have, beads and 3'd away. Unfortunate. But then we have ADC and jungler die on this end. This is it's just, womp womp literally. Yeah, Mylan said it was starting to upset him the amount of times I was 1v3 and not losing HP. Yeah, it was actually wild. Again, Noxus has some great plays here. Noxus ends up playing pretty well from behind, ends up blinking, ends up getting this Discordia Aegis, misses the 3, says fuck it, I'm getting this kill, I don't care. I like this. And then we just see like a nice little dance off. Yeah, Mulan's still OP. Yeah, this character's fucking busted. And it's one of Nox's better characters. Now, even from this standpoint, right? The FG basically doesn't matter. Maybe you're looking to siege this bird because you have a minion wave coming in, but Sun Wukong's ulting in. You want your Mulan to live. Wukong never dies without your ADC being on him, so like you're not really concerned. There is a world where you could have just sieged the bird there. See, if we got the Phoenix, yeah, like if you end up getting the Phoenix there, like in the siege beforehand, yeah, that goes so much smoother. Yeah, exactly. Because you could have just walked out and not taken 1 billion HP, of damage. So we see a teleport coming in, the Mulan's coming back. We're looking for Pyromancer. It is what it is. I'm just gonna fast forward. They get Pyromancer. So even though you're down in gold, you've clawed back up. You fucked this game up 12 different ways, and now if you're Warriors of Albion, you have a gold lead. You have somehow you have out macroed this team enough to get a gold lead. And again, I'm skipping over like most of this game. I'm going through most of the boring parts. I'm just kind of highlighting like a lot of the bigger mistakes that were happening. A team fight ends up breaking out here in a second, I believe. Let's just fast forward till it does. Here, wait. I went too far. Sypha ends up getting gone on. I love the amount of damage we're doing here, but why is our ADC up this far? Why is our mid laner up this far to where there's no front line? Our front line's looking to dive, and they're just not in a safe position. And here we see, Wukong, Camazotz, kind of siege potential, like their dive potential. Now, actually, here's a great example. Here's a great example of exactly what the big issue was. So, let's look at how this fight starts. You have Busha and Sypha here. You have Morgan Le Fay off in the jungle. What should happen here is Busha should be with Robin, Mulan ready to dive on a backline that they see exposed, right? So Busha's not in a position to dive right now. He's in a position to peel. He shouldn't be peeling for this kind of comp. He needs to be full diving. If you see, like, he's afraid to take poke. He's afraid to take damage here because he wants to be the one diving. He wants to preserve his health bar. But then, like, why are you here, right? This Morgan Le Fay is now, like, fighting to get in range to help peel for this Charybdis as well. Wukong ends up ulting off. And now, because Morgan Le Fay uses her self-peel, Camazotz has a free blink onto the backline. So now, like, he's just going to 1-2 leap in. She can't, peel him off of her without, forcing an ultimate. Her ult gets forced. She has to use Aegis. She has to cancel her ultimate early, by the way, to Aegis. Wukong is back on the ground, putting back damage in. So just looks at this backline was just kind of jumbled up, if that makes sense. This backline isn't peeling for each other. They're asking for other peel. And actually, in this scenario, we see a really good example of this. Their backline saying, hey, we're getting dove. We need peel. Look where the dive is on Warriors of Albion here, right? Kuzumbo is running back to the backline to peel for them. You're peeling a CC immune Camazotz. You're peeling a Wukong, who's never going to die. You're peeling a Karen wave. That's a ranked game positioning moment, I fear. Exactly. You have your Robin, who has not been diving this entire fight. He's been trying to peel for your backline, where this Karen isn't able to peel him off. You could have killed your Chernobog. You could have killed this Discordia already if you preserved your health bar and literally just all in with your Kuzumbo and Mulan. But now you have your Robin and Kuzumbo aren't diving. So now your dive comp is turned into a subpar peel comp. And now we're going to see these fights just go, this way here. End up killing the Camazotz, which is good. Zebra ends up dying, which is really, really good. But did the Robin and the Kuzumbo contribute to that? No, they did not. Right? Your Robin put out a couple auto attacks. Maybe him being there and his scary face on the God card maybe forced Camazotz into the ultimate a little bit sooner. But realistically speaking, your Robin didn't contribute much to that peel at all, right? Your Kuzumbo literally just got there as the dive dies. So now your Kuzumbo isn't there at all. He's not contributing to dive and he's not contributing to peel. So you have this huge turtle that could have been on your ADC who's autoing your Mulan. So now look, right? This dive has gone so deep. They're pinging this Mulan. This Mulan is dead to who? The Chernobog, who should have been getting ran at by a full HP turtle who still has Thorns and Horrific up. So this ADC should have not even been able to cast in this fight. So if you play your game plan, so let's talk about the importance of a game plan here, right? If Warriors of Albion stick with the game plan and say, hey, our backline needs to make do, we have an ad hitting, so I'm not going to go too hard in the paint here. But basically, Kuzumbo stays with Mulan. Mulan never dies. Robin ends up staying with Mulan and Kuzumbo. the Discordia and the Chernobog die infinitely quicker, and the Karen is literally a useless character. Your backline, maybe you trade 1 for 1, maybe they end up clutching up and they trade 2 for none, right? However, if you win this fight right here, you win the game. But because they fucked this one fight, they lost the game here. That game 3 was so chaotic. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. Now, here's the thing, right? If their dive commits and says, "Hey, we are all in diving this," you don't trade 2 for 2. You trade 3 for none. You trade 4 for none, and you're in a position to siege here if you're worth Albion. Yeah, unfortunately, my free bowling goat was just walking around here. He like literally free bowling goat was like he was going for a walk this fight. And to be fair, to put credit where credit's due. Oh wait, that's my guy. Exactly. Yes, sir. That's our guy. Now, to be fair, yeah, I did notice. Yeah, exactly. That's our goat, bro. Now again, in this fight, he was called back by his backline. The backline was saying, "Hey, we need peel." In this scenario, the backline has to shut the fuck up. The backline, you get dove silently, and you make do. You make do. If you die, you call the relics you got on the way out. You know what I mean? Like at this point, you have caused your dive to sit on top of you, and to be very honest, you're not the win con in this game. 1 and 2 were so mismatched, and 3 came down to team fought better, which I'm not gonna lie, I believe is us. No, 100%. 100%. I do believe that is. I think Fagard team fought way better this game. So go check Discord DMs, LMAO. I will here in a second. Sometimes that backline you just gotta go to war with the solo junk fucking you. Exactly. So this game, again, I think Fagard just kind of team fought better there. I think again, if Words of Albion stick with their game plan there, they fucking I think you win the game right there if you're Words of Albion. I think that was your way to win. I want to fast forward here. This is actually a really good team fight here. We see an amazing Karen ult come out here. We see Free Bowling step up trying to make space, but he ends up getting poked out. A great dive happens in the backline here. A huge Karen ult ends up hitting like 3-4 people here. Zebra goes crazy. Free Bowling dies. Sypha dies. So you end up having 3 people dead here. I think this is game right here. I'm pretty sure. Nope, it's not actually. They chased Majin too deep. So yeah, honestly, I just tell my OSL support to go do shit. I'll figure it out exactly. Like at this point, Fagard have made less mistakes, if that makes sense. So now Fagard's in the commanding position. They have EFG on 5. But now let's look at this fight here. Yep. Oh, my fault. I skipped a little too far. So first we have Wukong initiating this dive. We have Karen helping the dive here. He ends up fearing the blink here, which is actually insane, which is pretty dope. Robin's out of the fight. Robin's been poked out of the fight. The Kuzma tries to make the space. Charybdis ults to this fight, which I don't like 100%. But Words of Albion, for all intents and purposes, team fight pretty well here. I think they end up trading this. I don't want to watch the whole fight. They end up trading 4 for nothing here. They end up going mid. They aim to siege the mid bird. Again, Robin just ends up immuning. Not enough damage here. They end up getting mid bird. And then now you're poised to fight around this fire giant. Only on Kronos. Exactly, my good. So now we see the support. The dive gets kind of canceled out, and you see Crabapple ends up dying very, very quickly. He's next to the jungler, which is not where he wanted to be. Now positioning here for this fight, which is very, very unfortunate. You have Thorns ends up getting popped here by the Kuzumbo. Ends up doing a decent chunk of damage, but he's going to be dead. He's just on the way out, and he knows it. Noxus trying to get any value here. He ends up getting another kill before he ends up dying here. And I believe this is the game. Yes, it is. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know draft order, but MLF is never going to live into this comp. Actually, here. So, I talked about this really early on, but we can talk about draft order here, actually. Here we go. So, here's picks and bans and draft order. There we go, from both backliners in that last fight. Exactly. Yeah, she was last pick. And again, I was helping them draft in this game, and I said, whatever mid laner you pick is going to be miserable because you're going to get though via CC immune Camazos and a CC immune Wukong. They end up last picking the Chernobog, which I think was an amazing ADC pick to help out the dive. And the Karen, again, commits to that full dive identity. But I think no matter what you pick there, you need to pick something that's going to get value here. The Morgan Le Fay in the last 2 fights didn't get any value there, unfortunately. And I think that was mainly due to positioning. I think the Morgan Le Fay, I don't think it was a bad pick. I think the positioning made it look like a bad pick. So, did I do good? I hope I did good. I think you did what you needed to do that game, you know? I think you were the better support in game 3 for sure. So I think, and you know, again, I think this is going to come back to, you know, full circle, where I was talking about Warriors of Albion. They had a chance to win the game at the 30-minute mark, and I'm going to go back to that fight, and I'm going to play it. Because this game was their game to lose. Because even though they made so many mistakes, they end up clawing back into it. They end up making it an even game state. They end up getting a gold lead at some point. This game, by all intents and purposes, I believe should have gone to Warriors of Albion. But they didn't play their comp the way their comp was designed to be played, if that makes sense. And this team fight's going to highlight it right here. This is the only team fight that I think we actually need to even focus on here. Their backline is out of position, and their dive doesn't commit to diving, and they fully commit to peeling. The Robin ends up coming back to help peel. This Kuzenbo is no longer diving. He's left Noxus on an island, and Noxus' first death of the whole game was because he was abandoned into a 3v1. Now, if that's a 3v3, that goes infinitely better. Warriors of Albion, maybe they lose their ADC there for that fight. But guaranteed they don't lose their solo laner. They don't lose their jungler. You guarantee get this mid bird. The game is their game to win off this fight. Now, if for some reason the ADC doesn't die in that dive, and they end up winning that dive trade, they win the game right here. This would have been their game to win. They would have won at the 30-minute mark, the 31-minute mark. Yeah, I think the Albion could just leave the backline to die every fight and win off their goated 3-man dive. Exactly. This game, yeah, but I still believe our team fights are just better. I think this game, I think your team fights were better. Tram thoughts. Yes, exactly. I think this game, I think your team fights were better because I think they were confused of how they wanted to play the game. I think Warriors of Albion had an idea in the first 20 minutes. If Chari had Shifter, she would have lived. Exactly. You know, I think if Charybdis goes a Shifter Shield build, if Morgan Le Fay goes the A1 build and goes this fucking Warlock Staff, Shifters, E Staff, Karen's Coin build that we see getting built, then Morgan Le Fay, first of all, lives a lot more, gets infinitely more value. You can't say that she would have done more damage with this build because she's dying instantly with this build, right? So, I also think, yeah, that mid build is gnarly. Exactly. I also think if you don't want to go to the Shifter Shield angle, you could have went for an alt timeline angle. There's infinitely more ways you could have built your mid laner to survive the kind of dive. You could have done a alt timeline tablet breastplate build, and actually you would have never died if you were the mid laner in this sense. But I do think their backline, no matter how they played, their backline cluttering their comms and saying, "Hey, we need peel," and dragging the Robin and the Kuzenbo off of the Mulan, and basically destroying your 3v3 dive into a one-person dive in a 4-person peel unit. That's not how that comp was designed to be played. And they played this comp like their comp was designed to be a one-man dive, 4-man peel unit, and that's not how it was designed to be played. That is what ultimately ended up costing them this set here. So, not to take anything away from Fagard, I think Fagard looked really, really good. I think they looked infinitely better than they did last week. But for anybody saying that you know, Warriors Albion were just simply the worst team here, that's not the case. You know, this is a 2-1 set, and 2-1 sets are always a story of something happened in Game 3 that could have went either way. And watching the footage back, you can see that this game literally could have went either way. Yeah, Majin always feels. Majin's fucking stupid. I feel you. Exactly, Albion Giants League. That's what he meant. Exactly, bro. So it's almost gonna say that he's not helping Noxus. I feel that. Again, I think. Like, you know, if they commit to this dive identity, you know, that's just it. That's a lot of teams win con. I feel you. And again, you know, Majin is I would say off rolling. He's not like a primary jungler, so he's not like hard like always diving and stuff like that. But again, I will say again, like Majin, I will say in this set looked fine. I think he looked good, and I think in a different meta where you're okay with your jungler like initiating sometimes and peeling sometimes, he shines. And again, like I think in game 2 and game 3, I would argue that he was the better jungler of the two. But I do think again, like you know, the decision to peel for your backline this set isn't primarily made like, hey, I'm gonna peel for you. It's your backline saying, hey, we need peel. We are crying for peel every team fight. And then if you're the jungler, if you're the support, which the two roles end up hopping off the dive and onto the peel train, you're saying, man, I want my dive to not, no, I want my backline to not complain nearly as much. I'm gonna peel to appease them. Noxus is goated. We've seen him 1v4 anyway. Surely he survives long enough. Oh fuck, Noxus is dead. I'm sure that's the thought process, or that's the subconscious thought process happening there. So, unfortunately, the game ends up not going your way if you're Words of Albion, because you looked really, really good until you threw the game away at the 30-minute mark. And you could even argue 35-minute mark, the game's still basically dead even, and you just fuck up on like positioning 1 or 2 times. So, if I'm Words of Albion, I'm looking at this back, and I'm saying, hey, like let's just review minute like 25 onward, because literally before that, the game does not matter. WA plays off hoping Noxus becomes the raid boss. Yes and no. I think Noxus is genuinely, I think he's better than most of the CRETE solo laners. And I think most of the CRETE backliners aren't equipped to deal with some of the top end solo laners. You know what I mean? Like I think the crazy Zebra looks sick this set. I think his Wukong looked great. Keep putting him on that pick. That's huge. Yeah, this would be a good game to watch back together and kind of get an identity of how you want to play those team fights. Exactly. These team fights looked so bad, I think, because the backline's positioning was so dog shit, in my opinion. Your ADC and your mid laner aren't playing together, Zebra and I are at least even, and we're doing the same thing all 3 games of just running at backlines. Exactly. Like, I think if you're looking at tier list, yeah, you lost. Oh, simply. That makes Zebra better. I will say, you lost, Noxus, because your team sold you. Yeah, you're under him now, little bro. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say, if anything, if any tier list implications are going to happen, you would put free bowling down. Because, again, I think this game he was simply less impactful than Juan. I think Juan had a really good Karen game. I think Birds of Pluto, I think he looked okay. I think I don't think he stand out better than Sypha, though. I think Sypha actually looked really, really good this set. And I think you're putting Crabapple lower. It's not because he knows I'm just trolling. Exactly. I know. I think all of my deaths had insane value. Yeah, exactly. I think if you're Fagard, if anything, if you're Words of Albion, you're not concerned about Words of Albion going down. You're concerned about Fagard moving up in tier list stand. This is how I would look at this game. I think Fagard capitalized on Words of Albion's mistakes. Yeah. God almighty. Yeah, exactly. 29 wards. Exactly, man. They had vision diff. Now, again, I think this stat screen says it all. I'm always critical of every support player I see. If you are playing Karen and you're getting 9k damage, something went wrong in your game. I think you could have played any other pick and gotten the same value. You know what I need? You know what I mean? So, but I'm also just a Karen hater. And this comes from someone that has 4k worshippers on Karen. I think Karen's a very overly nerfed character. He doesn't bring a lot of value right now. I think you get more value on infinitely more characters right now. But one thing that he does bring to the table is just spitting out fucking damage. So I do think if you're not doing damage on Karen, I think you're not playing the character not correctly, but meh. So, but yeah, if I take abilities and relics off of people for my life and we clean up, that's fine. Exactly. And I think Birds of Pluto, I think that's a good mindset to have, because your role's dog shit right now. You're an ADC. Your role doesn't win you the game. You know what I mean? So I think if Warriors Albion end up realizing that their win condition that game was Majin getting kills, Noxus being a raid boss, and free bowling enabling those two to play the way they wanted to, that game goes in their favor. Instead of peeling for a Mortal Fate that's going to die anyway, instead of peeling for a Charybdis that just needs to buy time. So, Majin played 15 more wards than me on the same character and had 6 more deaths? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Again, they went into that set knowing that their backline was going to be miserable. So, but yeah, guys, I think that's just going to highlight. How many times have I heard AC is dog shit since I started playing that role? Makes me sad. Exactly. Like I'm playing Charybdis and making her change gods. Yeah, I feel you. Hey, listen, she likes to play Charybdis, Freya, and Medusa. So do with that information what you will. So, but yeah, guys. Well, that's basically been it. I just want to do an overview. I think that game 3 is a very, very good highlight of the importance of sticking to your game plan and making sure your whole team's on the same page of sticking to a team's identity. Because even if you guys say it in picks and bans, the backline of this game, they were saying, hey, we need Peel, and that's like that's not what you should be asking for if you're on the same page. If you're on Words of Albion here, you're not asking for peel. You're calling out the relics you got when they dove you. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a fantastic game to VOD review for both teams. Exactly. Thankfully, we also have comms. Exactly. If you guys want to hear the comms, again, Majin Busha streamed it. The VOD's up. Juan Tiflis stream. So if you want to check out Juan's POV, Juan published the VOD if it's not already published. So I also need to not be the only one getting relics. Exactly. So yeah, if you're in my chat right now and you're on either of these two teams, literally you can waste your time VOD reviewing game 1 and game 2. But if you want to get better as a team, and this is advice for both teams going forward. I'm a franchise advisor for Words of Albion. Obviously, I'm biased. They're my favorite CRETE team in the division. But I'm very non-biased when I review this stuff. Obviously, I'm pointing out every mistake that they made. If you're a Fagard, if you're Words of Albion, look back at game 3, post 25 minutes, and see every mistake you made. You will grow so much as a team. So, literally, if you're a Fagard, you can see how you lost your gold lead. You can see how your team fights were slightly messy and like how they could have been better. And if you're Words of Albion, you're telling your backline to shut the fuck up and let your dive do their dive job. You know what I mean? So, the favorite team with 3 martial players isn't your favorite team. I see how it is. Listen, Royal Jester's CRETE is also my fucking goats, bro. And then going Ghost CRETE, I need them to free my goat Ivory Mac Room 55, bro. RoboCop, bro, he needs to be freed. So, yeah, no. Listen. People think I'm not a triple Marshall team. Exactly, bro. Yeah. Marshall has a 3 Marshall team in CRETE this season. So listen, just because I'm an Athens player does not mean I'm not tapped into CRETE or Delphi or Sparta. I have a podcast. It's gonna be live today at 6 p.m. It's the Words of Albion Green Room. If you guys are around at 6 p.m., catch us on the podcast. If you guys aren't around, we upload it to Spotify and Spirited Books YouTube channel. So check out our podcast. We have a lot to talk about with Words of Albion CRETE, Delphi, Sparta, and this week a lot happened with the Athens team. Spoiler alert: I'm on the Athens roster now for Words of Albion Athens. I'm starting support for that roster, so that's a little bit of a spoiler. So, if you guys have anything else you guys want to ask me, questions wise, you guys know where to find me in the Discord. Literally just DM me questions if you would love to have your set reviewed like this. Have me take a deep dive and, either have me call your team dog shit, call the other team dog shit. And if it's like a productive game like this and I can make it, good content, please ping me. Again, I'm, super unbiased. I have a lot of free time on certain days and I'm extremely busy on others. It's summertime, which means I'm not, seeking another fucking master's degree at the moment. So otherwise, guys, I'm going to wind down the stream. I hope you guys have a great day. We're getting casted Tuesday. Oh shit. Okay, if it's good content, I'll do a deep dive. I'll do an OSL CRETE deep dive of it. So, but hell yeah, man. Well, otherwise, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. Catch you guys at 6 p.m. sharp, and I'll catch you all later. Peace out.